Today I'm going to be shooting a couple of fine woods deer rifles. These are absolutely great rifles. This one is a 1923 G model. G meaning it's takedown. You can easily take this rifle down. When I got it, it was an absolute basket case. I mean, it was all pieces. Black. The stock and the forend were solid black, soaked with oil, cracks everywhere. I actually even had wood missing. I had to replace a big piece of wood back here. Cracks all over the place. I had to fix a ton of cracks on it. And the forend literally was in pieces. I had to piece this forend back together. But I decided if I could fix this rifle, if I could resurrect this rifle, I could do any of them. And this rifle is actually the one that got me started on many years of reworking 99s. I would buy somewhat basket case 99s and fix them up to look as much like this rifle as I could. This rifle had some of the most beautiful, clean, flowing lines that ever was. Back then, there was lots and lots of handwork done, particularly in the stocks, on rifles. And whoever the craftsman was that put this rifle together, that shaped it and put it together, he did an excellent job. Excellent job. It was the most beautiful designed or shaped 99 I'd ever seen. And it had super thin little forend on it, super thin lightweight barrel. Actually has a built-in integral. That's a ivory bead, a true ivory bead, elephant ivory bead. It has a sight that's fold down rear sight on it that you fold down all the way and could use the pop-up tang sights. Now this pop-up tang sight has two apertures in it. This, you can flip this little lever up and it closes the aperture down to where it's a very small hole. But then you can open it. If I can get my thumb on it. Yeah. And you can open it up to a large hole. So, yeah, 3 sight options on it. But anyway, for many years, I actually made a living reworking 99s. And this was the model. And a lot of the later models, they were big old clunky looking things, crude looking. And I would spend hours and hours getting rid of wood and taking them down and making them as much like this rifle as I possibly could. So this is an EG. This is the last rifle that I did, the last 99 that I did. And I decided not to sell it, I decided to keep it. And I took it and made it look as much like this rifle as I possibly could. And believe you me, it didn't. It didn't look anything like that rifle. But I did a lot of carving, made this rifle look as much like that rifle as I possibly could. And it does. It does. With the exception that it has, as you can see here, if I can put them side by side here, it has a longer forearm, and it was whole bunch heavier. Goodness gracious. Look at the length of your checker in here as opposed to the takedown model here. And the barrel contour is much heavier on this EG than it was on the G. Let me put them out here together, maybe you can tell that. So there's no way I could make this rifle as light as this one, by any means. But it looks like it, like this one to a great extent, and it's a great rifle. It's a great rifle. And for all those years that I worked on 99s, I had a generic load that I used for all of them to test them out. I just had a load, and it worked pretty good. And that's actually all that's ever been fired in this rifle. In this one, last year, the generic load that had been shot in this one was not, I decided to work up a little bit more accurate load, and I just picked another load for this rifle and shot it, and it was more accurate than my so-called generic load. So that's what I used in this rifle. I've got a load specific for this 99. Out of all the 99s that I have, this is the only one that I developed a load specific for. All the rest of them are shooting this generic load that I've always shot in the 99G. So, today I'm going to fire the G model with its generic load, and I'm also going to try the generic load that I developed for this rifle in this one and see what happens. We'll just find out. But both of these are woods rifles. These are designed to be carried in the woods. That's what they're for. Now, I will not ever put a scope on. Of course, this one you couldn't put a scope on unless you want to take it and have it tapped and drilled, which I don't want to do. I prefer the tank sights anyway. And this has got the old Lyman fold down peep sight on it, which I love. This one has a marbles peep sight on it. This one was tapped and drilled. When I got it, it was not factory tapped and drilled, but it was aftermarket tapped and drilled. And I took the scope off and put the tank sights on. But any time that I can use tank sights or open sights over a scope, I will. And for woods hunting, I certainly do not need a scope. So both of these sport tank sights, and this one sports both tang and open sights. And I will eventually probably get a fold down sight to put on this one where the blank is right now. But I may or may not, because with my eyes, old age eyes and all that, I get along much better with tank sights than I do open sights. So anyway, I'm going to put me up a target, get out and start shooting these two fine woods rifles. Let's get the range opened up here. Get a little, it's kind of warm today, so definitely want to get some air. Get a little bit of air flowing through the homestead here. It can get quite warm in here today. Anyway, that target is sitting out what would be the maximum that I'll probably ever shoot at a deer with either one of these. And it's actually 60 yards. Even though They are certainly capable of shooting out to 150, 200 yards without any problem whatsoever. Like I said, these rifles are capable of phenomenal accuracy. And I've got a video up, if you go look at it, called Savage 99 150 yards tank sights, which I use this one out to 150 yards, and you'll see that it is extremely accurate. So to 200 or at least 200 yards with these sights that are on either one of these rifles, to kill a deer should be no problem. I mean, it'll do it, and they're plenty accurate enough to do it. However, the sight, the front sight, covers enough of the body area that it can be hard to see exactly where you're aiming at a deer. So I will limit my shots to somewhere around 100 yards, 150 at the absolute most. Even though, I mean, my gosh, I've sat here and, just pot shooting around the farm, 300 yards, no problem. But that is a problem when you're shooting at live animals. There's too much of a chance of wounding one. You can't see to take quite as precise an aim because of the front sight covers up so much of your target. But the rifles are capable of doing it. So you can put a scope on them and take advantage of that out there, which I have a few 99s that way, they're scoped out. And no problem shooting at 300 yards. But that's not what these two rifles are. These two rifles are for wood shooting. So 60 yards is going to be about the maximum distance that I'll be taking a shot. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. So the first few shots are going to be with this 99 EG, the last one that I redid. And just to take a few shots to see if it's still hitting where it should be hitting. So, and that's with the load that I have worked up for it. So let's get her on the bench here and see what's going to happen. First off, let me take this sling off. Put her up here on the bench. See if we're going to have to adjust the bench at all. See if we're going to have to adjust the rest on the bench at all. Liable to. Now let's just see. I need to raise the front of the rest a little bit. See if that was enough. Maybe, maybe not. Nope. Need to raise it just a hair more. It usually don't take raising or lowering that front sight very much to make a heck of a difference out there where you're shooting. So take the time that it takes to get your bench set up. So you can do your best shooting. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. I still need a little more. And, brother, are those sights ever blurry today? terribly blurry. Look. You got the crooked there. For whatever reason, those sights are so blurred. Could I shoot at a deer at normal ranges in the woods and hit him? Oh yeah, I sure can. But to target shoot, to test the load, that's not clear at all. I might have to go get my glasses. Let's see here what that looks like. You know, if there's any advantage whatsoever to being 80 years old and have an 80-year-old eye, I'll be dadgum if I know what it is. I hadn't found it yet. Little test underway here. But first, I gotta put on some ears. Gracious, it's getting hot already. This is, like I said, this is the EG, the last gun that I worked on. And it's with it's 180 grain Hornady spire points. So if this test is to have any validity whatsoever, I had to put on glasses where I could see that front sight just a little bit clearer than what I can without it. So. Let's see what's going to happen here now. I have not worked on this trigger It's straight from the factory, and it's 5 or 6 pounds, no doubt. Okay, let's see where we're getting here now. Heck, gum. Beautifully. Dead on, dead on. About a 1-inch group. Dead on. Oh, goodness. Whew. Gosh, I might have burned up. Oh boy, that little bit of breeze coming through that window feels wonderful. Oh. When a Savage 99 opens freely on the, when you're going to eject, you don't push the gun away from your shoulder, and it cocks on the close where you're pulling the gun back into your shoulder. So it's a very good design. Now, when you shoot it, it opens and ejects easy. You close back, never having to take your eye off your subject, off your target. It's a great system. And you pull back on your trigger and you bypass. You don't want to fire it. Dry fire it. When you start to close it, when you feel contact back here, just pull your trigger and it'll bypass the cocking apparatus. So very, very good. Very good. So now I've got the EG, the takedown, the old 1923, the first 99 that I ever owned. And see how she lines up on the target here. Lines up pretty good. So that was the loads for specifically for the EG. The EG for all the 99s that I've shot over the years. That was specific to them. And what I'm going to shoot here now is the generic load that I've shot all my 99s in for over the years. And I've worked on tons of 99s. And I need a load that would work for all of them, and that's what I just shot in that EG. I mean, what I just shot in my EG was loads that I had worked up specifically for that rifle. This rifle that I'm shooting right now, these are loads that was my generic loads that I used for all 99s over the years, including this one. So let's just see what it's going to do now. see what she did. Huh. That's the worst that gun's ever shot. Let me try another one with that one. I don't like that. I changed my sight picture here a little bit too. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Gotta let that barrel cool. You know, as I was showing earlier, this rifle has two possible peeps in it. You got the open, the bigger, more open hole that now, or you can close it down and have a much finer peep. Well, I had it closed down, and with the sights, or with the target that I was using, with it closed down a little bit too much that I couldn't really see the target as well. So when I opened up the aperture back here, it opened up everything and allowed me to shoot, to see where I was aiming more precise with the larger aperture rather than the small one, which is, under these circumstances, the small was just too small. It was just too small. So when I opened it up, my group tightened right up. Oh, I could, simply because I could see what I was aiming at better with the much, much bigger aperture back here. So I'm going to let this little barrel, I've shot it, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times. That little wispy barrel, it's quite warm. Matter of fact, it's very warm, so I'm going to let her cool down for a while before I do any more shooting with it. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shoot the loads that I specifically worked up for the EG. The EG, I'm going to fire a few of them in the G to see what it does. In other words, these loads were worked up specifically for a particular rifle. Now what I'm going to shoot is loads that I've actually worked up for another rifle. Let's just see what they might happen to do in this rifle. Let me take a quick look here. Okay. Well, the load that shoots so good in the EG doesn't shoot as good as the generic load does in the G. Not surprising. Every gun's pretty much a law to itself. So this is back with the generic load. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Yes, sir. Might as well say the generic loads, or the loads that I call them generic loads. This is load that I just started shooting in this gun when I first got it. That was the load that I first started using in this gun, and that's what I've used for every gun ever since, every 99 ever since that I've owned. And I call it my generic load. But it is a very accurate load. in this rifle. And I must say, it's my first 99 I ever owned. And it's my favorite 99. Let's go. Let's go take a peek at the target. See what that looks like. Okay. Make some sense out of this. The EG, the last rifle that I worked on, my newest one, when I fired it with a load that I'd worked up for, it was here, here, and here. These three, 1, 2, 3. But then when I fired the G, my old takedown, with that same load, it was here, here, and here. So the EG shoots that load much better than the G here. So I've sort of worked this load up for the EG, and then we go over here to the G. When I was shooting the first few shots, and I could not see I couldn't see nothing clear worth a flip. And I fired these 3, 2, very good, here. But then I opened opened the aperture up, and the last 3 shots I fired is here. That's here. Last 3. The Savage 99 is capable of extreme accuracy. And like I said, this load here is for the EG. And that's only the second load I ever tried it. So I've not spent a lot of time trying to really work up a load for it. But back when I first got the first 99s, I did spend a little bit of time working loads. And I came up with this, which since became my generic load, which does not shoot good in the EG, but it shoots fabulous in my G, as you can see. Very, very accurate. Savage 99 is an extremely accurate rifle. I say it handles and carries and handles like a fine over and under shotgun. It has the accuracy of a bolt and the speed of a lever. Just a fabulous rifle all the way around. You know, I've said before, and I'll say it again, if there is any advantage whatsoever to being 80 years old, I hadn't found it yet. Whoa, 80-year-old eyes, even after having cataract surgery, certainly don't see like you did when you were younger. When I was a young guy, you know, oh Lordy, 60 some years ago, whatever, scopes and all that were just coming into their own. And like everybody else, I rushed out and I jumped on the Roy Weatherby bandwagon, you know. Small bullets per caliber, high velocity scopes and all that. Even though what I came up in was the large bullet per caliber and iron sights. And that's virtually what everybody used deer hunting, was iron sights and big bullets per caliber. Bigger, slower moving bullets per caliber. Roy Weatherby come along and ignited the high velocity craze. So Unfortunately, for many years, when I had perfect vision, I didn't appreciate peep sights and iron sights like I should have. I'd put a scope on darn near everything. And of course, once you put a scope on most rifles, they simply don't carry it as well. They don't handle in you. They don't carry in your hand nearly as well as a rifle that don't have that daggum scope on it. So you can hold these rifles like you can carry a rifle much better. They just fit in your hand better. They just carry better. But you put that big old scope on top of it, now you can't, they just don't carry the same. They don't balance the same, they don't carry the same. So back when I had really good vision and could really see the use iron sights, I didn't appreciate them enough. Then I got older, where your vision started giving you a fit, you begin to realize how great it is to be able to shoot iron sights. So now that I can't see sights or target nearly as clearly as I could, I use iron sights as much as I possibly can. I love them. So my advice, if you still got good vision, good young vision, spend some time shooting iron sights, particularly peep sights. Don't wait until you can't see them, then try it. You'll find that with peep sights in particular, you can shoot as accurate as you can with a scope as long as you can see the targets. You know, you can't hit what you can't see, and well, that front sight, by its nature, it blocks out a certain amount. It covers a certain amount of your target. But you'll be amazed at how accurate you can hit with it. You'll be amazed. You can hit remarkably well with iron sights, particularly if you've got young enough eyes where you can see your target and see your sights both. You know? Holy moly. So anyway, while you can, try to use those iron sights a little bit. Don't wait till your vision goes to the point you can't hardly really enjoy it. Enjoy it now. You know, of course, I always enjoy my shoot, and they ain't no exception. I have thoroughly enjoyed coming out here and shooting a couple of my Savage 99s. The 99, in my opinion, the greatest lever action ever invented. Just a great rifle. And I have a few videos up on it. And this rifle, I have a video that posted last fall, during deer season, that I took, the first deer that I took with it, and it was a doe. I think that, not sure what the title of that video was, but it's about doe season. It was one day that I carried it one day last year during the deer season, during the doe season, and I did get a doe with it because, like I said, I'd had this gun for many years and not shot it or not hunted with it, and so I wanted to baptize it, I reckon. So I carried it last year on a doe day, and I did get deer with it. And that, like I said, that video is up. I love this rifle. It's a great rifle. It's a beautiful rifle. Like all Savages, it handles good and everything else. But compared to the old G model, the old takedown, it's a little heavier. I mean, it's got that, everything from here back is pretty much the same, but the barrel has a heavier contour barrel and a little bit beefier fore-end. But this little rifle, my land to live. I mean, It feels, I mean, it's so small where you grip it. It is so small. That little pencil forend. It just, and that slim trim buttstock. It just handles incredibly well. Like I said, it balances like a fine over and under shotgun. It has the accuracy of a bolt, as you can see. It has the speed of a lever. It is. Oh, it's just a great rifle. So, any woods hunting that I do this year that I'm not using a flintlock with, this will be the rifle I'm taking. This will be the rifle I'm taking. And 14 years ago, when I had colon cancer surgery, had that in September, and I traded an outfitter a 99. He was a 99 aficionado, and I had, like I said, I worked up, I reconditioned these things. I made beautiful rifles out of a lot of 99s and would sell them. He was interested in one, and so I traded him a 99 for one of his elk hunts. And I'll see if I can find a few pictures from that hunt. I was feeling mighty poorly then, and I could hardly move. I was feeling rough, but I got the best elk I've ever gotten. I've got somewhere around 20 elk, shot around 20 elk, somewhere around there. Give or take 1 or 2 or whatever, but that's the best elk I ever got. A big 370, big massive 370. I got it with this rifle. So on one of the worst years all the way around, in this chicken's life, he got one of the best elk with one of his favorite rifles. So I'll see if I can find a few of those pictures. But anyway, I know what I'm going to be taking for woods hunting this year. It'll be this one. The old 1923 Savage 99 G model, the takedown model. Anyway, talk soon.